Number 5, notices, communications, and announcements. We have Keith Eiler here from ITC. Do you wish to come and address the council tonight?
Be all right if I just stand here?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Again, my name is Keith Eiler. I work for ITC Midwest, and let me just give you everyone a little bit of background. First, I want to thank the mayor and the city administrator for inviting me to come and share a little bit of your time tonight. I fully appreciate the outage experience that Rushford just had. This has been a very active storm season, and as someone who works in a utility, I can tell you that it's been kind of widespread. A little bit of background on ITC, so you know who the heck we are, and that I can talk more specifically to Saturday. ITC Midwest was formed a couple years back when ITC Holdings purchased basically the transmission system that had been owned by Alliant Energy, Interstate Power and Light, across much of Iowa and southern Minnesota. A year after that purchase, we took over operation of everything at 69,000 volts and above. And so we've been operator of that, the majority of that system now for about a year and a half. Our only focus is transmission. We don't have generating plants. We don't go out and read bills and send a business or a home or a church or a store a bill. We are the transmission component. We help the generators get electricity from their plants to town substations, distribution level substations. And we're interconnected with a number of other utilities to get that done. On Saturday morning, when the storms came through, our 69 kV line that taps off of our line north of here and comes down to Rushford substation, I had a pole that broke. This pole was in a very challenging location. This pole was basically one of the two structures on either side of Rush Creek, as I understand. For a lineman, that's a pretty crummy location, because I can't drive my truck up there if I'm a lineman and park and put my stabilizers down and boom up and do what I have to do and be on my merry way. We have to bring in specialized equipment for that. I've got some images of that stuff that I'll share, and I just thought it would be more helpful to get a visual. I've got a couple images of the track vehicles, as well as the broken poles. I'll just give this to the council. You can pass them around the room or whatever you'd like. The vehicles that we had to bring in are the equivalent of our large bucket trucks and our large digger trucks, the thing that you see the big auger on sometimes that bores the hole in the earth for the pole to go in. Those are basically trucks in the form of tanks with treads. They're track driven. We call them track driven vehicles. We had a pair of those that had to be brought in to get into this ravine down by Rush Creek to get to that pole, to help us get the old pole out, bore a hole, get the new pole in. We need to frame up the new pole, which is putting all the hardware and everything on it. To really complicate it, we have a distribution utility that is what we call underbuilt on our transmission. So you'll see a tall transmission pole. You can see the three large wires on top. That's us. That's the transmission. That's 69,000 volts. And then running under that is underbuild, where you have cross arms carrying 3 phases horizontally. So we had not one but 2 utilities. We had a pull brake that most typical, normal, usual trucks can't get to. So we had a number of challenges. And as I mentioned early on, this is storm season. And from the middle of June until now, and we expect there will probably be a few more storms, from the middle of June till now, we've been dealing with these kinds of failures on our system, where we've had tornadoes, we've had a number of instances of straight line winds, which I think this was attributed to, and we had a large concentration of line crews, trucks, the track drive vehicles, and other resources in northwest Iowa, dealing with a stretch of line that was about, I want to say we had about 27 structures on the ground. By structure, I mean either single pole or what you might see as a 2-pole, we call it an H structure. So after battling through about a half a week of putting that back up in the air, And that was another situation where you've got transmission on top and underbuild on the bottom, so again, more complex. As soon as we got that wrapped up, this happened to the north of town here. So rather than having our resources distributed more homogeneously like we usually do, we had a lot of storm response going on all the way across the state. So kind of caught us by, I don't say by surprise, but not in the most ideal situation. So we really mobilized resources from further away than we would have preferred to have done that. So we moved crews, trucks, and track vehicles basically from northwest Iowa to here. Do we have other resources in other areas? Yes. Did we do an evaluation on what's the fastest thing for Rushford? Absolutely. We determined that with those folks and resources already heading this way, to try and mobilize somebody else and get them going, because we don't have interstates directly between, say, Dubuque or Cedar Rapids and here, where we have other resources, we were really time ahead to continue with our original plan to get those resources back out of northwest Iowa and coming back east. So that's what we did. The track drive vehicles were loaded up, and it was my understanding that in Minnesota on the weekends, they don't want you running oversized loads on interstate highways. So we said, rather than saying, well, okay, I guess we'll just take 2 lanes and get there, 7 at night, we had one of our suppliers contact the Minnesota State Patrol, explained the situation. State Patrol said, hey, go get the power back on. Get the track drives on the interstate, whatever you need. So we appreciate that. And we understand that there are rules to prevent things from happening, but also, too, in situations like this, we want to be able to respond as quickly as we can. We knew we were already behind the 8 ball because we were coming out of northwest Iowa. We had a lot of resources over there with nearly 30 poles on the ground. So was this maybe the very, very best we could have possibly done under ideal circumstances? No. We weren't fortunate enough to have this initiate under regionally ideal circumstances. So would I expect our response would be faster under some other arrangement? Yes, I do. Do I regret how long it took? Absolutely. I didn't come to make excuses. I came to share information and give you facts so that you know where we were coming from when we got word that that pole was broke. And it's kind of it in a nutshell. If there are questions for me, I'd be happy to try and answer them. If there are questions I can't answer, I'll take those questions back with me, and I'll get you answers and bring them back.
I will, I'll let, council's gonna have questions. I will let people from the audience ask Mr. Eiler some questions, but I do want the audience to be respectful. And, it was a tough situation on Saturday. We're gonna take it easy on Mr. Eiler here. I do want to request that, folks.
Any questions that you got, really? Don't,
Mr. Roberts.